Texas is traditionally known as a deeply conservative stronghold, but its major urban centers tell a completely different political story. Here are three Texas cities where demographic shifts and voting data show an overwhelming rejection of Donald Trump. City 3, Dallas. Opening our list is a massive economic powerhouse that has undergone one of the most dramatic political transformations in modern American history. Welcome to Dallas. For decades, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex was viewed as the ultimate symbol of traditional, corporate Texas conservatism. It was a city heavily influenced by the oil industry, banking elites, and a business-friendly Republican establishment that delivered reliable red margins during the Bush and Reagan eras. However, in the contemporary political landscape, the city of Dallas and the wider Dallas County have turned deeply consistently blue, becoming a formidable wall of opposition against Donald Trump's populist platform. The reasons for this monumental shift are deeply rooted in rapid demographic changes and the forces of modern globalization. Over the past decade, Dallas has been an absolute magnet for massive corporate relocations. Fortune 500 giants have moved their headquarters to the region, bringing with them tens of thousands of highly educated, diverse professionals from states like California, New York, and Illinois. This influx of out-of-state workers has fundamentally altered the cultural and political DNA of the urban core. The modern Dallas voter is highly cosmopolitan, globally connected, and socially moderate to liberal. The aggressive America First rhetoric and populist nationalism championed by the MAGA movement simply do not resonate in a city whose economy relies on international trade, tech innovation, and global talent. Furthermore, the demographic makeup of Dallas has diversified rapidly. The city boasts large, politically active Hispanic, Black, and Asian populations that have historically leaned heavily toward the Democratic Party. In recent presidential elections, the voting data has been stark. Dallas County has delivered massive, undeniable majorities against Donald Trump, effectively canceling out the conservative votes from several surrounding rural counties. The local political culture now prioritizes diversity, urban development, and global integration. For the modern urban Dallas voter, the populist platform of the current Republican Party represents an ideological clash with their daily reality, making the city a reliable stronghold for the opposition. City 2, El Paso. For our second city, we leave the corporate skyscrapers of North Texas and travel to the far western edge of the state, right in the heart of the Chihuahuan Desert. Welcome to El Paso, a city whose unique geography, culture, and economy make it one of the most fiercely anti-Trump urban centers in the entire country. El Paso sits directly on the US-Mexico border, forming a massive interconnected binational metropolitan area with Ciudad Juarez. For the people who live here, the border is not an abstract political talking point to be debated on cable news. It is their daily life, their family heritage, and the lifeblood of their local economy. Because of this deeply ingrained binational reality, the political rhetoric of Donald Trump was met with overwhelming historical resistance. Donald Trump's political rise was heavily fueled by promises of strict border enforcement, the construction of a border wall, and hardline immigration policies. While this messaging galvanized voters in rural areas across America, in El Paso, it was viewed through a deeply personal and critical lens. The city boasts a population that is over 80% Hispanic, with deep, multi-generational roots spanning both sides of the Rio Grande. For decades, El Paso has been one of the safest cities of its size in the United States, so the national political narrative depicting the border as a dangerous or chaotic war zone felt fundamentally disconnected from the peaceful, community-oriented reality of the locals. The rhetoric surrounding the border wall was widely perceived locally not just as an economic disruption to cross-border trade, but as a direct affront to the city's cultural identity. Historically, El Paso has always been a reliable bastion for the Democratic Party, but the Trump era supercharged this political loyalty. The city consistently delivers some of the most lopsided electoral margins in the state of Texas, with Democrats routinely capturing around 70% or more of the vote in major elections. The local culture highly values social solidarity, immigrant integration, and binational cooperation, values that stand in stark contrast to populist nationalism. In El Paso, opposition to Trump is not just about standard partisan politics, it is an emotional and cultural defense of their way of life, making it a city where his electoral support remains virtually non-existent. City 1. Austin. Taking the absolute top spot on our list is a city that has long been famous for standing in direct ideological opposition to the conservative state that surrounds it. Welcome to Austin, the capital of Texas and the undisputed progressive heart of the Lone Star State. It is one of the great ironies of American politics that the very city housing the conservative Texas state government is populated by one of the most fiercely liberal, socially progressive, and environmentally conscious demographics in the nation. Guided for decades by the unofficial motto, "Keep Austin Weird," the city has built its entire identity around counterculture, artistic expression, academic intellectualism, and progressive activism. It is the ideological polar opposite of Donald Trump's political movement. Austin's massive rejection of the Trump platform is driven by its unique economic and educational engines. First, it is home to the University of Texas, which creates a massive, constant influx of young, progressive voters, academics, and activists. Second, Austin has transformed into Silicon Hills, a booming tech epicenter that rivals Silicon Valley. The city is packed with tech workers, software engineers, and creative professionals who overwhelmingly prioritize social liberalism, climate change action, and progressive taxation. Donald Trump's brand of right-wing populism, his skepticism toward environmental regulations, and his cultural conservatism fundamentally clash with the core values of the typical Austin voter. The voting numbers in Travis County are a testament to this deep political divide. In recent presidential elections, Austin voters have turned out in record numbers to vote against Trump, frequently delivering over 70% of their votes to the Democratic ticket. The city is a deep blue island in a red sea, a place where progressive policies regarding green energy, public transportation, and social equality are the baseline for local governance. For the residents of Austin, rejecting Donald Trump is viewed as a necessary stance to protect the progressive, inclusive, and forward-thinking culture they have spent decades cultivating. It is the ultimate anti-Trump stronghold in Texas, where shifting the political dial to the right is considered a nearly impossible task. While rural Texas remains a conservative stronghold, these three booming urban centers highlight a massive demographic shift, standing as deep blue islands that consistently reject populist politics.